Disaster agencies in Pakistan say heavy monsoon rains have killed at least 321 people over the last 2 days. Most of the victims died in flash floods in the country's north, with some also killed in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Mudslides and road damage are making it harder for rescuers to reach survivors.
The streets and alleys of Pakistan's Swat Valley are underwater. People using whatever they can to navigate through the floodwater. Destruction is widespread.
The flash flood came from the upper areas and the water entered the city. The rainwater also came into our homes and washed away many vehicles, and some of them have been completely destroyed. It caused a lot of damage to our homes. The situation has become a lot worse.
The province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is the worst hit. In this area of Buner, the intensity of the swollen river took locals by surprise. At this hospital, medical teams are treating those rescued from the inundated area. Many have not survived the raging waters.
We rescued as many people as we could. Relatives have identified around 130 bodies at the hospital, which have been handed over to their legal heirs, and some of them have not been identified yet.
Rescue teams tried to reach flooded areas by air, on foot, and through heavily damaged roads. Some of them also became victims. A rescue helicopter crashed due to bad weather, killing all 5 crew members. Dozens have also lost their lives in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, where homes washed away and bridges collapsed.
The flood damaged the bridge. About 35,000 people use it. The flood also damaged flour mills and washed away crops. I call on the government to urgently repair the bridge and compensate people for their losses.
Pakistan is among the countries most impacted by climate change. It is increasingly facing intense heat waves and abnormal levels of rain during the monsoon season. Experts say carbon emissions from rich, industrialized countries fuel global warming far more than other nations. The consequences become more visible each year. Help from governments is often very limited. So those who are helpless in the face of mighty disasters often turn to their faith for divine assistance.
Let's get more from environmental lawyer and climate activist Rafay Alam, who joins us from Lahore in Pakistan. Good to have you with us. Can you tell us the latest in Pakistan and how the country was prepared?
Well, we woke up to news this morning that just yesterday over 200 people perished because of floods and these bursts that we're seeing in the northern areas of Pakistan. Now, we do have a disaster management network through the country that's also linked up with our meteorological organizations that can provide data and information for preparedness. However, the intensity of these floods have left these institutions without the capacity to be able to deal with the climate challenge that they're facing. We are, after all, a poor country with limited resources, and the floods that you're talking about right now are taking place in the mountainous northern areas of Pakistan, where access is already very difficult and made now next to impossible because of landslides and this devastating flooding.
Can you give us a sense of the extent to which climate change has further intensified what we're seeing, these flash floods and landslides during the monsoon season?
Now, you know, I have to preface this remark by saying that not all weather events are climate change related. However, there is a World Weather Attribution report that was published last week that said that between June and July, 15% of the intensity of the monsoon rains can be attributed to climate change. So what we're seeing, the 15% increased intensity of these rains, is not a natural occurrence. This is because of historical greenhouse gas emissions. Similarly, in 2022, when a 100-kilometer lake was created by massive monsoon floodings in a matter of days, the attribution science said that 50% of the intensity of that rainfall was on account of climate change. So it's very clear that these aren't natural disasters, but very much the hands of, or the result of, human activity that's taken place on Earth since the Industrial Revolution.
And so how can Pakistan better protect itself? Because as you mentioned, this monsoon seasons, these intense seasons are, they happen every year. So what would Pakistan need to do to protect itself and its people?
Well, first of all, Pakistan needs to prioritize climate resilience in all of its future initiatives, its sort of budget expenditures, its infrastructure design. But at the same time, the impacts of climate change, not just for Pakistan, but many other countries around the world, are beyond their own economic ability to deal with. At the same time, while Pakistan needs to improve its governance in respect to climate resilience, the international community must be held to account for the greenhouse gases that they have spewed and be forced to provide climate finance not just to Pakistan but countries like Pakistan whose economies are devastated on account of this crisis.
And next door, India has also been hit by floods. We've seen dozens of people killed there as well. I know the relationship has been hostile recently, but is there a way, not just India and Pakistan, but the region, the South Asian region, can work together to combat the effects of climate change?
Well, you're absolutely right. The politics, for example, between Delhi and Islamabad are such that any sort of climate negotiation seems like a pipe dream. However, the leaders of these countries, indeed all South Asian countries, if not all the countries in the world, need to realize that climate change is real, and they'll be doing a disservice to their populations if they don't sit down and negotiate on these greenfield policy issues that climate change throws up. I know right now the politics between countries in South Asia is bleak, but speaking to each other on issues like water or flood relief or disaster management will give these countries the opportunity to create the diplomatic space necessary to provide peace to their citizens.
Rafay Alam in Lahore, thank you very much for speaking to us.
At least 60 people have also been killed and dozens are still missing after flash floods hit a village in the Indian-administered Kashmir on Thursday. Mudslides and floodwaters inundated a village on Thursday, washing away Hindu pilgrims who had gathered there. Search and rescue operations continued Friday. Officials say a cloudburst triggered the flash floods. This is the second such disaster in the Himalayas in a little over a week. And we have more on this from the environmental activist Chandra Bhushan, who joins us from Jakarta in Indonesia. Now, Pakistan has been hit by floods as well as your home country, India. Is it time countries in South Asia work together to combat the effects of climate change?
Absolutely. I think that the South Asian countries need to work together. There was a framework under SAARC. There's a SAARC meteorological department, by the way, where countries were to cooperate. Obviously, things have not gone as they were supposed to be. But it is important to understand that what we are seeing in Hindu Kush Himalayan region, HKH, which is Pakistan till Myanmar, is a combination of factors leading to this disaster. First, the hazard is increasing. You have cloudburst, extreme rainfall, which is being fueled by climate change, global warming. You have exposure. The population of Himalayan Hindu Kush region is increasing. There are more people living today than ever in history. And then the third factor is vulnerability. These places are building infrastructure which are not suitable to these regions. So a combination of hazard, exposure, and vulnerability means that more people are dying because of these extreme rainfall. And of course, the adaptation is still not there. We do not have the kind of early warning system that should be there to warn people But frankly speaking, these cloudbursts are happening so suddenly that even I'm not sure how useful will be early warning system, because the flash floods are happening in minutes. People barely have minutes before these flash floods are hitting them.
Now, these weather incidents are amplified by climate change, of course. If we consider that to be the new normal, as many do you think that the governments in the region are doing enough to make their countries more resilient? An early warning system would be one thing, but there are other things to do, aren't there?
Of course, adaptation is a big agenda. In India, there's a lot of investment happening in early warning system. I'm not so much aware about Pakistan, but I'm sure that this is not new for Pakistan. I mean to say, these flash floods have happened over the last decade. We are seeing intensification of monsoon in Pakistan, heat wave in Pakistan. So there must be investment in Pakistan as well. But I do believe that the time has come to do more investment, to actually be careful about where we are building our infrastructure and homes, to have some control on tourism. Himalayan Hindu Kush region is also now becoming a hotspot for tourism. A lot more people tourists are visiting these places. So a combination of things will have to be done to save lives.
Those are all pretty long-term things that you just described. Is there anything that could be done in the short term?
Early warning system. That's something that can be done quickly. Something that will allow people, give people that little extra time to save themselves. But as far as destruction is concerned, think about it. It rains about 100 millimeter in 30 minutes. It is almost like, a 10 centimeter, column of water is falling over you. And all these cloudbursts are actually in a radius of 10 to 15 square kilometer. So you're talking about millions of tons of water falling within 30 minutes. There's hardly anyone can do to save themselves.
Chandra Bhushan Alam in Jakarta there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.